Many of us love talking to our dogs. I currently have two foster dogs, and I find that one pup seems to understand everything I say, while the other seems to not get it. So it got me wondering, how can dogs understand us? And how can I effectively communicate with my pup? I looked for studies on canine communication, and I'm excited to share what I found. First, dogs understand human speech and tone. A study in the Science Journal in 2016 revealed that dogs process human speech in a complex way, much like humans do. The researchers used functional MRI to analyze brain activity in dogs when exposed to different combinations of words and tones. The study found that dogs, like humans, process word meaning in the left hemisphere of their brain and intonation or tone in the right hemisphere. This is the same way human brains process speech, suggesting that dogs have evolved to understand not only what we say but also how we say it. Dogs were able to recognize words they had previously learned, like good boy, regardless of the tone used. This suggests that dogs can distinguish the actual meaning of words, separate from the emotional cues given by intonation. Dogs also showed different brain activity when they heard the same words spoken in different tones. They could detect when the tone was positive or praise versus neutral. When a word was spoken in an encouraging tone, the reward center of the dog's brain was activated, showing they are sensitive to the emotional content of human speech. Interestingly, dogs responded best when both the words and the intonation matched, when a positive word like good boy was said in a praising tone. This suggests that dogs pay attention to both the meaning and emotional content of human speech, and the two aspects work together in their brains to form a full understanding of the communication. In summary, dogs don't just respond to the tone of voice, but also to the actual meaning of words. This suggests that dogs are capable of understanding more about what we say than previously thought, making communication with them both important and effective. Second, dogs know when communication is intended for them. A study in 2011 found that dogs are sensitive to the same kinds of social cues, such as eye contact, pointing gestures, and vocal intonation, that humans use to signal intention in communication. The experiment involved testing dogs' reactions to different communication signals from humans. In one scenario, the human made direct eye contact with the dog while speaking, and in another, they avoided eye contact while still speaking. The researchers also used pointing gestures to see if dogs would respond better when these gestures were directed at them versus being more ambiguous. The researchers found that eye contact and gestures matter. Dogs were much more likely to follow instructions or cues when the human was making direct eye contact and using clear pointing gestures. Dogs also recognize intentional communication. Like human infants, dogs recognize when communication is intentional based on social signals such as mutual gaze, gestures, and vocalization directed at them. When these cues were present, dogs were more responsive and could understand that the human was trying to communicate specifically with them. Lastly, the results showed that dogs are more responsive to human communication cues than other animals like chimpanzees. This suggests that dogs have evolved to be highly sensitive to human social signals due to their domestication and long history of close interaction with people. The study concludes that dogs have developed specialized skills for understanding human communication, likely as a result of thousands of years of domestication and coevolution with humans. Dogs are unique in their ability to read human social signals, even better than many other primates, which highlights the deep bond between humans and dogs, allowing for better cooperation and understanding in daily interactions. Third, dogs communicate through observing and imitating human behavior. A study published in 2014 showed that a method called do as I do is an effective communication strategy in canines. In this method, dogs learn by observing and imitating human behavior. The dog watches the owner perform a specific action, such as turning on a light switch or picking up an object, and then is encouraged to replicate the behavior on command. This approach is based on social learning, which taps into dogs' natural ability to learn through observation. The researchers compared the do as I do method to clicker training or shaping. Clicker training is a widely used method where a trainer uses a clicker sound to signal to the dog when it has performed the desired action. The sound is followed by a reward, reinforcing the behavior through positive reinforcement. The study found that dogs trained with do as I do learned new behaviors faster than those trained with clicker training, especially when learning complex tasks. The dogs in the social learning group could generalize what they learned to new situations more easily, which suggests that imitating their owners helped them understand the task at a deeper level. Although both methods were effective, the do as I do method was more efficient when dogs were learning completely novel tasks that required creativity or problem solving. The study highlighted that dogs are capable of understanding human actions and intentions through observation. The do as I do method takes advantage of dogs' natural cognitive abilities to imitate and learn from humans, suggesting that social learning could be more intuitive for dogs in some cases than traditional shaping techniques. To conclude, the do as I do method is an effective alternative to traditional clicker training for teaching dogs new behaviors, particularly those that involve complex or multi-step actions. Social learning taps into dogs' ability to imitate humans, showing that dogs can not only be trained through reinforcement, but also by observing and copying human actions. I hope these 3 studies gave you enriching insights into the world of canine communication. Subscribe to our channel for more dog fun facts. See you next time.